Okay. Boom. All right. Let's help you out. You okay with that?
Yeah, I should be good with that.
All right. So you joined recently from non-reboot, right?
Yes.
And you played a Battle Mage there as well?
No, I played a different main. I played Phantom in regular servers.
Okay. And how are you liking Battle Mage so far?
It's definitely a big change of pace, you know, because Phantom kind of just hold down one button, and Battle Mage is a lot more interactive.
Yeah. I mean, if you play Phantom like that, then it seems like a really big difference, right? Telecasting all the time.
Yeah.
And pretty
I just want
necessary.
something different. Because I was pretty big on the Heroes of Maple in regular servers, so I didn't really want to play Heroes of Maple on Reboot as well.
Right. Yeah. They see generally people either just play the same character again because they're just so into it, or they wanted something completely different. Seems to be the
I don't know,
yeah. So you're in the second camp there, yeah. And how are you enjoying Reboot so far?
A big change of pace, to be honest. The normal mob HP is like actually insane. Getting to 200, I had to like 5-shot some stuff with telecasting.
Yep. But the
Other
XP
than
is
that,
good
it's
right
really-
around your level, right?
Yeah, the EXP is good.
Yep.
Especially doing like Monster Park every day, all 7 runs.
Extra bonus
Yeah,
EXP from the symbol dailies now.
Yeah, so it's not the worst.
And this one you created as a regular character, right? You're also doing like a Terra Burn on the side.
Yeah, so I already finished the Terror Burn right now. I did a Phantom to 210 because I couldn't stand the 40% crit rate on Battle Mage.
Yeah,
I
and
instantly 210 that.
for sure. And it's great for your whole account, right? Having high crit rate.
Yeah, the Meso as well, the crit rate.
Are you planning to do 220 it for the extra rewards, or keeping it at 210?
I think I'll just keep it for 210.
Because you can still
Yeah,
get
for this
the
one-
other rewards on the second one if you want, right?
Yeah, the Abso and the Typhoon and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to keep it at 210. Just because I don't want to put in the extra work for it.
I see. Yeah, it'll also feel weird as like a side character from an event is like higher level than your main. Always feels a little bit weird.
Yeah. It was for a little bit.
Okay, so well, I guess what are you doing these days? Like, what kind of content are you playing? What situation can I help you with, and what are you trying to achieve? I guess. Broad question.
Right, so the stuff that I'm doing, you know, just most of my dailies, every daily that I can. If you scroll down to like all the bosses, I have like a list of the bosses that I want to do eventually.
Okay.
And I'm doing up until... Right now I've done up to normal arc. No. So that's the one right there.
This one?
No, the one right above that.
Yeah. So it's like the percentages that
This-
it's PDR, right?
Yeah, just because I want to see like how difficult it could be.
Yep.
And like what I'm... Just use like stuff as benchmarks right now. So right now I can do normal Arcarium. That's like I just destroy it in one burst. No big deal. Working on normal sickness, I believe I can kill it, but the V2 summons are just giving me some trouble for sickness.
Yeah, and you have long times of healing reduction, right? So you got to be really careful
Yeah.
with when you heal.
Yeah. I think it's like 30-second potion cooldown
Yeah.
or something, so it's pretty bad.
That
on
used to be.
normal
I don't know
sickness.
if you played back when the boss came out and the drops were relevant, but that was brutal back then for runs.
Yeah, I could imagine. It's brutal right now, even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if
have
you-
like Drain Aura, but I have to switch off like Dark Aura to use Drain Aura.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you have your shield to immune some damage and like big hits and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I tried Hardhilla. Apparently it's supposed to be like 16.8 bill, but she just heals an insane amount. Yeah, so even if I do like 10% of her HP, as soon as she goes into the healing mode, it's already healed up. So I can't do Hardhilla.
Yeah, I think even if she's down to 10%, I think one healing phase, if she doesn't get stopped, can heal her completely back up to full. I think it's
Yeah,
pretty.
and I try to get like on the summons pretty quickly too, but it's just I gotta save that for another time. I can do more damage to her.
Yeah, you definitely have to burst her at this point. And are you using the bind for some of these bosses?
I've been considering it, but I haven't used it just yet. Erdonova, right?
Yeah. They'll basically stop, like if you're doing some damage or she has done the zombify, you hit for a little bit, then bind her, then really go hard on the burst to see if you can like destroy her before she gets to do that. But yeah, that's a 10-second window, right? So you're gonna have to check. But I guess you can see from the HP, like normal arc is 12.6 and Hilla is 16.8. So if you get her down like 25% and then can bind and burst her, it should be possible, right?
Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, maybe once I get like an extra node slot or two.
Yeah, that's an expensive slot in the beginning for sure.
Yeah.
Because there's so much other stuff you could be putting in, like an extra boost node, extra final damage, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
In the beginning, there's like 100 things you want and no space for it.
So other stuff.
Yeah, just as a question, like, did you keep all the nodes on your Phantom, or did you like transfer those over back to your Battle Mage?
Yeah, I disassembled all of them from my Phantom and I moved them all over.
Yeah, okay.
Because I wasn't gonna play that class again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a good extra way of propelling your Battle Mage faster, right? Because nodes are pretty difficult to come by in the beginning.
Yeah, I think I got like a good 42 nodes out of there because I got a lot of skills.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
So that's pretty solid.
Yep, definitely. And the current event shop is going to be a good source, I guess, as well.
Yeah, actually, they only have about like 20 nodes in there that you can buy. So.
Yeah, we've had better. That's true. We've had.
Yeah, I was hoping for more, maybe like 50 or 100, but got all 20 of them, and that's that, you know.
Oh, because it's only in one of the shops, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it's in multiple shops, and then there's like boxes of nodes, and then random boxes of nodes, and then flat amount of nodes, and then everything adds up. But now it's only just straight up nodes, only 20 per character. That's it.
The rest I have to wait until like the subscriber rewards for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have like a box, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, then the other burn will be able to transfer some more over. So you get right around 100 then, right?
Oh yeah.
But you have to work a bit harder for it than just click in the shop with the effort you're already putting in.
Oh yeah, for sure. So for the next burn, I'm actually thinking about making a Beast Tamer, just for like that little bit extra crit rate and the IED.
Mm-hmm.
Other option I could make is a Demon Slayer. So I was just curious if you know like how these Tamers train up until 210.
Yeah, they changed a little bit. We used to use that in the in the leopard mode. You had that dash thing, right, where you could like spam the it's like a blue dash plus the swipe up and the jump and the crash down, and you could just like spam it. You just like zigzag through the map, destroying everything. But they re-added that cooldown to the dash so that you can only animation cancel that thing when the dash is off cooldown. So it only works like every 4 seconds or something. So now that's completely dead in the water. But from what I heard is that a lot of people just go into bird mode now, into hawk mode, chicken mode, whatever people call it, and that's pretty brain dead and pretty fun as well, and still really strong. And some people even swear by using it for bossing as well, that it's just like universally really cool mode now to use both mobbing and bossing. So they seem to train pretty well from what I heard and level pretty quickly. Of course, you know, that'll always depend on how good your Legion and your Link skills already are. But from a lot of people I've heard that they're still quite strong and still level quite fast. So it would depend on if there's anything else in your account that you're looking to get leveled up faster. Personally, when it comes to like gains and building account and classes that typically people don't like as much. But you said you already went pretty hard on the heroes, but a lot of the heroes have very solid links for early on, right?
Yeah.
Like especially Evan, for example, is really good for account building.
Yeah, I was considering Evan. I think for me, I was looking more towards the damage links, just because I could always do Legion at a different time on, but I kind of want to get like my Battle Mage out there as far as possible for now.
Yep.
I was looking at maybe Demon Slayer or Beast Tamer, depending on which one's worse to train.
Yeah, that's a rough. I think they're both okay. Yeah, it's tricky because, and the reason I don't know. Yeah, so I guess to dial back a little bit, like to which extent have you already looked into my the commands that I have? Because some of them were probably a little bit different for you because you were playing in non-reboot before. But have you like looked into them and used them now that you're on reboot?
Yeah, no, I've definitely looked at all of them like multiple times.
Okay.
I was like kind of theory crafting my way through reboot for a little bit first.
Yeah, so if you look at the like the links in Legion 1, right, you'll see that classes like Demon Slayer are like considerably further down Not because like 15% boss damage isn't good, but because that same value can also be gotten by growing your legion, and then growing your legion is faster if you hit the other links first. So it's not necessarily set up to... I get your point. Like, it's not necessarily set up to make your main character strong as fast as possible, but it is in the long-term setup for that, depending on how long you're in it for, right? Because if you can build your whole legion faster, then you can get to the finish line where you have the full legion and your character is the strongest faster.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
So that's why maybe for your main character now, if you're bossing and you do have your, you want your crit and you want your boss damage and you want to do a lot of damage, they'll might speed you up a little bit now. But then if you speed up legion building first and you build up a stronger legion, then that'll get you to like lucid and will and everything beyond that faster. Because that's when your legion and your links is really taking care of all of the critical rate, critical damage, ignore defense, boss damage, right? Mainly those. And then combining that with your hyper stats allows you to fill out all the required stats that you need. And then all your equips and your boost nodes and your symbols and all that stuff can take care of the rest and carry your character.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what you're trying to say is you think that the Beast Tamer would be the better option out of the two?
Out of those two, I would say yeah. For my account personally, I'd probably do the Evan because I think the Beast Tamer is still reasonably fast. I would definitely create a Beast Tamer and a Zero when they become available and definitely level them pretty early on. But for burning, and that's because of my enjoyment of the class, Evan wasn't particularly my thing, but the rune duration increase is so good that I would burn that one for value, or if I was just starting out probably as a main character, I would pick probably a Terraburn just to give it that enormous boost in the beginning. Although I definitely see the value in making your main character the normal way, so you have some time to get used to the skill set and kind of ease into things rather than just being propelled into Choo-Choo and into Lakaline and be like, well, you're supposed to know everything already, but then there's a whole lot of stuff coming at you at once, if you're completely new, of course.
Yeah. So that's why I ended up just making my Battle Mage as a regular character. Although I did end up using the Lara Mega Burn just because it was so slow at the beginning.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with it. I Mega Burned it, but
yeah, if you're starting with absolutely nothing on a brand new account and you're used to, I think, a pretty big account in non-reboot, right? It's one thing to be like, oh yeah, I want that experience again, but it's another thing like, okay, but I want to move on just a little bit faster than snail's pace. Yeah.
So the Mega Burn was super helpful for that.
Yeah, and it doesn't get you all the way. It just gets you past like the pesky part where you have like all of your 4th job skills and like even one of your hypers is soon, and then then you can get started.
Yeah. Guess I can look into getting that Evan then, because I'm not exactly fearing Evan too much. I know a lot of people hate that class in their Legion. But yeah, I'm not fearing it too much. I think it recently got a buff too for like 1.2 weapon multiplier or something like that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Battle Mage and Evan both were like the only mages left, I think, that didn't have that multiplier, so they just added that, which, just straight up 20% final damage for both, together with the reboot passive, so...
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty huge for them.
That's true.
I'll definitely look into Evan as possibly my next Terraburn. Okay. Because I do love those 5-minute runes.
Yeah,
on regular servers, those 5-minute runes are so good.
Especially in combination with events, right? You have events where you can...
the sunny Sundays and everything.
Yeah, you can like get the extra bonus EXP, or during the haste that you can do them every 10 minutes instead of every 15. And then if you combine that with the level 3, that's a really good combo.
Yeah, it's basically like 50% uptime.
Yep.
The rune.
It's really good.
So I'll look into that. For my short-term goals, right now, so I'm kind of looking to do a different type of progression. If you look at the very last screenshot that I made, I'm considering just going into skipping Absolab entirely.
Yep.
And just going 18-star Empress and Fafnir, and going right into Arcane from that. This is sort of like the comparison between the two sets of equips that I've done. So the main difference is like I lose 99 base stat and I lose 142 magic attack. But the reason I was considering this is because, what am I going to solo or dual Lomian with?
I'm
not going to solo or dual Lomian with Absolab equipment that I don't have.
Yep.
So I was thinking maybe just go 18-star Empress, skip the Abso entirely, because it's like sunk cost almost, where I have stuff that's strong enough for like normal Lucid and normal Will. The 18-star Empress probably. I don't want to make an entire different set of equipment again just for like that little bit of incremental gain. And later on, you can buy all the droplets as well from shops. So you just need a couple of Lucid and Will clears, and you could just go straight from Burst to Arcane.
Yeah, so what I basically, yeah, I think it's definitely doable. I don't even know if you need 18 Empress, to be perfectly honest. The one thing that's a huge time gate on whether all of that works is whether you get your Helix set completed. That 30 IED 30 bosses is massive. And yeah, you're gonna feel that pain soon. Like, you can't just go into the auction house and buy one. You have to suffer through the whole thing, just like the rest of us. It's a it's a rite of passage. Like, so for what some of my characters, like my marksman, basically got all the way to 250 on CRA gear, and like I don't know, I had like a regular dimension invasion PQ glove, and I think I had like I think it was a pencilier shoe. I don't even know, like a tyrant cape, you know, like, and that was good enough to like train to 250. But then, you know, because I was people asked, like, you know, to have an extra character to do hard Lucid, hard Will with. So then I did do the whole level 150 gear up to 21 star and transfer into Abzo just to get like a big power spike there for bosses. Like for mobbing, it's probably not even going to be necessary to even get that high. But for bossing, it'll definitely be useful. It'll have flame advantage. So would you plan to like go on the item itself, or like make 19 star like Moose Spell and transfer over, or?
Does Moose Spell go up to 19 star?
I believe so. It's 130, right?
It does,
so
right?
Yeah, it should be able to go up to 25. I think it's 127 plus, I believe, goes up to 25.
I was planning on just doing it on the gear itself, like maybe 15, like maybe 16 star Moose Spell, and then transfer hammer it for 15, and then maybe just go straight from there. But yeah, I didn't have wasn't planning on 19 starring and then transferring.
Okay, yeah.
That was in my thoughts, yeah.
Yeah, it makes more sense. I mean, you have to have enough backups. Probably means, yeah, I mean, you can get backups start getting that pretty quickly. That's true.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, like I finished my Critias dailies, Critias prequest, just because I had nothing else to do at that level range. So I could start doing Critias for the Empress resets as well. I could start running Empress more.
That's definitely a thing to do. I don't know, if you're talking about like pure efficiency and stuff, we would have to do like a bunch of number crunching. If you're asking like, is this possible, and doesn't seem like entirely crazy, then yeah, sure. Whether it's like the most efficient thing, like versus all the other possible options and everything, probably not. There's probably something else that you could be doing. But if this seems fun to you, it doesn't seem like completely crazy. So I think that sounds like a interesting plan. Not one I've seen before, but you know.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
Yeah.
I was hoping that you wouldn't say like, oh, this is freaking crazy. You're never gonna do normal Lucid without Absolab gear and stuff like that.
No, I've done, like I said, like I did a hard, definitely done normal without. Like I mean, I soloed easy on my Adele now. I got like one Absolab shoulder on there, so like one Absolab shoulder by itself doesn't really do anything. It's like unique with 15% or something, so it's not even. Yeah, that could be any shoulder there, right? There's no huge set bonus there going on. There's always ways to compensate for sure, and you can definitely skip Abzo at the current stage of the game. Definitely with the access that we have to Arcane, you can get enough droplets from shops. You can definitely get enough easy and normal Lucid clears in to get enough drops. It'll take a while, of course, and then just make an Arcane weapon. And if you have an Arcane weapon that's 17 and okay upgraded, and you get your and basically you get your CRA to 21, and everything else is 17, you can probably join hard Lucid at this point. That's kind of
would that include the weapon to 21? Probably not.
No. Yeah, weapon you typically keep at 17 because eventually it's gonna get liberated. A lot of like if you get backup, you can try, but otherwise you just keep weapon 17. Yeah. Like if it's Arcane, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my plan for now. I already redeemed a glove, and the first glove that I got is like 20 int, 20 luck, and 6 all stat, so that's already set.
It's a good start, yeah.
Yeah, for the flame. I just have to get more more pieces and hopefully get a shoulder drop from normal eventually.
Yeah, the shoulder drop is going to be the one thing that that holds you back. I think I did. I have a few pieces on my. I think on my Demon Slayer, there's like a few classes where I just tried that I haven't done like CRA with yet. That I tried if I could do Cygnus, and of course, it's not super easy because you've got all that cooldown going on with the potions, and you've got to be careful. So it's mostly the classes with leech. Like the Aaron was able to do it because you could just leech your HP back, and then the DS was able to do it because you also have one leech skill and also you have 2 iframes, so you can be a bit more flexible with those things. So I believe I got some, the pieces on here, but it's mainly the shoulder that holds the whole thing together, holds the whole set. But it's also great if you can get 6 set bonus in the beginning. Like if you're gonna go for the set before you do CRA, then CRA is gonna be a total joke, I think, because it's a 30 attack and 30 boss damage in the 6 set bonus. So that's pretty cracked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these flames can get really good, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Got, like,
I've already,
yeah,
just on normal servers, I've seen like 60 stat flames, 70 like naturally on Empress gear. So.
Yeah, I've got like DS here has a 48 and 3% all cape, 80 strength glove with 48 dex, 52 shoe with 68 dex as well, so that helps a little bit.
Yeah, those are good enough. Like I take a 48 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
you're not trying to have best in slot, you're just trying to get something that's good enough. But like the set bonus is far and above, especially if you get the 6 set. But then you're gonna drop that for CRA, of course. But like if you can get the 6 set even before CRA, like that's way above any other set bonus you can get at this point. The only thing that is like close to it is like the Japanese set, but all of those pieces are non-flame advantage, so that's a huge that's a huge bummer.
Yeah, I crunched the numbers on that as well, and just not having the flame advantage makes it worse, unfortunately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You have to upgrade so much further to compensate for that.
Yeah. I think you needed on average like a 20 stat difference on the flame, and that's like easy to get between Empress and Japanese set.
Oh,
especially because you also lose meso on like upgrading the 150 gear instead of the 140 gear.
Yeah, that's also something that people tend to overlook sometimes in every single reveal, every single Star Force. Usually it becomes more noticeable and people realize it more once they go for the alien invasion, whatever it is, pieces, right?
Oh, yeah.
The visitor pieces that are like 180, and then it's like, damn, this...
Yeah, those are super expensive.
Yeah, just Star Forcing a little bit, or just re-rolling the potential on Epic is setting me back quite a lot. It's like, yeah. And then they don't even have flame advantage, so... Yeah, that set bonus used to be very tempting, but now with like how good everything else can be, access to flames, to cubes, all of that stuff, it just makes more sense to go other pieces. It might still be better in some situations, but it's so little better, and you only have it for such a short period of time that I don't think it's worth the investment.
Yeah, you're just gonna toss it out eventually, or make it into like a drop.
Yeah, some people make it into drop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which isn't bad, and that's another thing. Hopefully that'll become more apparent with everything that we go through now, and hopefully that's become more apparent with you watching my content. Is that a lot of reboot stuff is emphasizing like how can you set yourself up to get like maximum benefits from minimal inputs, but also being able to recycle items to maintain value for later on, right? To set yourself up to make investments for the long term and for the short term in one. How to combine that, because you can't just sell your piece off right when you're done with it.
Yeah.
You don't want to sink a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, I've been like trying to abuse transfer hammer as much as I can.
Yeah,
try to get like epic at 120 for the cheap rerolls, and get it up to the 130s and 140s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the way to go, because you have enough things to spend money on in the beginning, so if you anything you can skimp on, definitely the way to go for sure. But I think that's a fun extra dimension to reboot versus non-reboot, right? I
definitely would not have done this if I like started out a year and a half ago on reboot. I've just like got the highest level piece gear I can get, and then like cube that, Star Force that.
Yeah.
So much better with the transfer hammer.
Yeah, and then you find that and then especially if once you start buying the stamps to try to get extra line of potential or something, they're so expensive in the beginning, and then they're only 50% chance. And if you think like, I could have just taken like a level 20 item with potential and just given it 1 star and transfer hammered it up, and spent like 100k or something, versus.
Yeah, I mean, funny
$5
story on that actually. The first day on Reboot, I was trying to get my emblem to 3-line, and I failed 9 of the silver stamps in a row. I just lost all my mesos on the first day.
Yeah,
because I failed 950%.
Yeah. Do you see that there was one guy who tried to stamp an item, and it just wouldn't work. Like not 9, I'm talking like 140 or something. But he just kept going to like prove that his item was bugged, and he just spent like 700 mil on stamps.
Did
and
you get compensation for that?
I don't know. I just remember that he uploaded the video, and I remembered like people were talking about it, but I don't remember what ended up happening to it afterwards. But yeah, that definitely wasn't how it was supposed to go.
Yeah, 50% chance on like 100 tries is like less than 0.1% chance to happen.
Oh yeah, it's tiny. I mean, it's like, what is it, 1 over 2 to the power 100?
99 or something.
Yeah, 99. Yeah, so that's like 1 in a bajillion. I think that's about the number. Yeah, no, that should definitely not happen. But yeah,
pretty upset.
there could definitely be traps like that in the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, 9 is outlandish. But you know, you'll learn quick enough that 50% means about 10 to 15% chance.
Yeah.
50% epots like always fail. Ask anyone.
Yeah, that was me on regular servers for the longest time.
Yeah.
So I do have one question about rings. I'm not entirely sure what rings people use on Reboot. Right now, the only potable ring I have is the Silver Blossom.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm using like the regular Iphias, the Platinum Cross, and the Curve Box ring, which don't get potential. Just curious, like what else I could throw in there to get like some 6% int, maybe.
Yeah, so some people upgrade the Iphias ring to the Noble Iphias ring. So you have to do like, I think it's like Rose Garden. You have to get like, I think 10 equips or something, and then you either fuse them together or you unlock the Noble. I don't know how it works exactly, but that's what some people do. I feel like it's a little too tryhard for my taste. I usually never go for that. There is, but that's a possibility for a potential ring for sure. And then in New Leaf City, there's a short quest line. I think it's called Treasure Hunter John's ring. That's a decent ring early on. I think it can go up to 15 stars. And it gets potential, so that one's pretty nice, like level 120 ring. But most people get that.
One gets potential, right?
Yeah, definitely get potential. Yeah, I'm only gonna mention potential for you. So like non-potentials is literally just like slot fillers for Star Force in the beginning. But other than that, it doesn't really do much of anything. And then if you're desperate, you could go for Blackgate rings if you want. Which I believe you buy in the Phantom Forest shop, right, guys? You can also run Von Leon.
Shadow Dealer coin daily?
No, not the Shadow Dealer ones. That's for Magna stuff. It'd have to be in in the NLC shop. A drop from Phantom Forest.
Yeah, the Shadow Knight coins.
Yes, Shadow Knight coins. Yes, those. Yeah. Or as a drop from the elite champions or bosses in that area.
Someone's saying it's a drop from Phantom Forest. I'm guessing the elite bosses there.
Yeah, from the bosses.
I never did in regular servers.
Yeah, same. So usually what I rely on is event shops. So I would get like the Silver Blossom ring basically, and then just either fill with event rings or just leave the rings completely open and wait for an event shop and just focus on other pieces. The main thing you want to focus on, right, is like the weapon, the secondary, and the emblem, and then nodes and symbols. As long as those are going well, that's like that stuff carries your damage. I usually I don't mind keeping slots open if there's nothing that really presents itself. So I never go for Noble Iphias. I never even got the Treasure Hunter John ring, although most people said it's like less than 5 minutes to go grab it. It's apparently pretty easy. Yeah, I'd usually go event rings or nothing. But that again, like most of my characters that I did back then they either could get Gollux rings pretty quickly, right? Because Gollux used to be completely different. Or I started playing them when my Legion and my Lynx were already stronger, so I didn't really have the need to get those rings, right? So I was in a different position in both of those situations. So, yeah, so if you have a desire, I guess those things. There's one big event ring in this event, right? That you can grab.
Yeah, the Awake, the Glory, and the Tenebrous rings.
Yeah.
One of the three.
Yeah, one of three. And then and then later there's also a scroll to make it legendary. 100% chance, so that's
looking
nice.
Forward to that.
Yeah, that's gonna be good value for you early on. Getting a legendary ring immediately, a chance of Mezzo and drop to start off with. That's really, really big for new characters.
Yeah.
Hard von Leon is decent for daily flames and cubes and RP. Yeah, and I think the Hard von Leon drops also count for the Ephios ring. But you have to get like 10 drops or something, right? I don't know exactly how it works. Because, yeah, I usually skip that part.
Yeah, I think you do get like 10 of the accessories and you trade them in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably start keeping those. I think I'll go for the Noble Iphias, if anything, just because it doesn't seem out of the way too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Treasure Hunter John is apparently very fast. Like 5 minutes, like 1 or 2 quests, and then boom, you have it. Yeah. So if you have 2 or 3,
I'll consider that as well.
If you have 2 or 3 potential rings, and then you have the outlook of the event ring, then you're good for now, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. But yeah, everything else, like all the other systems, kind of make sense. Is there anything where you've kind of heard me talk about certain things being like, and how I explain them or how I advise people on them is like very different from what you thought you would do in non-reboot, or like how you thought you would attack the certain system, I guess?
Honestly, not really. I think it just like opens up like options for creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you do, especially in regular servers, just because you do have that option to like purchase a lot of items instead of like waiting for it and killing bosses and all that stuff.
Yeah, true.
But no, I think like I've used all of your advice that I've heard on stream before, even in regular servers. The only issue is like I got a little bit messed up on the transpose because there's also scrolling in regular servers.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you'd have to know exactly. And star forcing, I guess, is less straightforward, right? Because you have to finish up your slots first on your item with scrolling before you can star force. Yeah, so that's. But then in reboot, you can just immediately start star forcing. That's got to be a little bit liberating, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't have to wait for like a spell trace fever every single time to start star forcing.
Yeah. And then decide like how much risk are you going to put into this item? Are you going to try? It's like 100% or 70% or. How many options do you have at this point? Like if you click spell trace one item, like how many options can you even pick?
Oh, if it's not a weapon, you only get 170 or 30. If it is a weapon, you also get the 15%.
Oh, okay, so that's not too bad. But then there's scrolls outside of that you might want to use instead, right?
Yeah, not for the regular player though. It's like the prime scrolls that are like 2 bill each in auction house.
Oh yeah, and like X scrolls or something.
Yeah, the X scrolls, those are even more expensive. Like,
damn.
I'd say 4 bill maybe.
Poof. So
yeah, nothing a regular player can get.
Would some people like 100% their item and then? Wait, because Innocence changes the potential. No, changes the scrolling, but not the Star Force or something.
So the Arc Inno does, yeah.
So you would just 100% then Star Force to what you want, and then if you get that, then get rid of the scrolling again, and then upgrade the scrolling.
Personally, what I would do is like during a spell trace fever, I would just pop whatever scroll I want on it. Like if I'm ready for that upgrade. Otherwise, I would just go 70%. Otherwise, I would just like throw all of the 30% that I can succeed on it. And if it's like 5 out of 7 slots, like I'd say that's good enough, and Star Force from there. And you just like clean slate it later.
So 5 out of 7, 30% would be quote unquote good enough.
I think yeah, some people even take like 4 out of 7 slots.
For 30%, wait, what's the odds on that? That's already pretty rare, no? You have to try a few times.
Well, on Fever, it becomes 45%. With Diligence, that's 55, and the Guild skill becomes 59.
Oh, yeah, all of that shit,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
True.
60%-ish. You get like 5 out of 7, 4 out of 7.
Mm.
I'd say like at least above 50% success.
I see. Okay, that makes it sound way more reasonable than be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go for 5 out of 7, 30%, because that sounds already pretty tricky. Like you have to try a few.
Yeah, so you really gotta wait for the spell trace fevers.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
the worst part is like the weapons. I know a lot of people are like scrolling arcanes and 15% on an arcane when you're first starting out, especially because they're like 1.5k trace per attempt. It's pretty bad.
Ooh, that drains fast. I mean, yeah, it's the same thing when you're star forcing, right? Because I mean, I got super lucky on my weapon 2 days ago on my Demon Avenger. I just got it from 17 up to 19 with just 2 attempts, no fails. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna quit while I'm ahead. But even just those 2 attempts was 600 mil mezzo.
And I'm guessing you didn't safeguard, right? Oh, you couldn't safeguard.
Yeah, it was 17 to 19. Yeah, so that was even without safeguarding. I think if you safeguard 1 attempt from 16 to 17 with safeguard, I think that's 300 mil. Yeah. So it's like, you know, your money just melts if you're.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. You're clicking on safeguards and it doesn't boom quickly, then before you know it, like 30, 40 bills just gone. Which, of course, that sounds really scary in non-reboot terms, but then in reboot terms, it's like.
It's not much.
In one way, it's more scary, but in another way, it's not. Like if you're set up with farming and with grinding, then it's not as big of a deal. But you have to get to that stage of the game. You know, before you get to that stage of the game, that sounds like amount of money that you'll never make. Like some people who are new is like 30 bill. Like I'll never see that in my life, right? Which is definitely a thing that I thought as well when I was starting. Like, because when I was starting on my DA, I was like, I'm not even going for tyrants because like I'll never get enough coins to like get tyrants and get past 5 and like all of that stuff. I'm just gonna keep the superior, right? That was like the safer option at that point. But yeah, that's how the game definitely changes as time goes on.
So I guess my next question would be like, how do I get to that point where I'm farming mesos very well? I have like 20% meso on my IA, so that like I got that from a circulator, which is super nice.
Nice, yeah.
But, I do need like some drop rate, I'm guessing, and probably I don't really need meso obtained. It would be nice, but I think maybe just getting some drop rate for 100% meso bag chance would be nice to start with. Like what would be like a way that I could get to farming mesos quickly in reboot?
Yeah, so it depends on a few factors. So you're no doubt familiar with like the whole concept of Kanas being meso farmers on accounts as like a side character, right?
Yeah, I'm not very fond of Kana. I kind of hate Kanas, not gonna lie.
Okay. Yeah, so I think you'll be fine and again, to like reiterate, like the damage, you want that damage to come from your WSE and to come from your nodes and your symbols, right? That's where you want all of your damage to come from, basically. And then that's going to be, complemented by where you put your points and your hyperstats and your legion, your links, and a little bit of stat on all the other stuff. But the brunt of the damage you want to come from all of those pieces. So your accessories are basically, you want to treat them as pure like utility for drop and meso as soon as you can.
I see.
So I tend to like getting them to epic and the 6%, right? Like you were mentioning with the rings, that's good. That's definitely a good step. And then usually I sit on that, and then one at a time just get them from that right up to legendary for drop or meso, so that, and then hopefully with a line of intellect on the side, so that they can hopefully maintain that 6 or 9%. So it's a net wash, like damage-wise, or maybe even a small increase if it goes from 6 to 9. But that in general, you don't count on them for damage, and you count on them for the utility. So when it comes to drop rate and all that stuff, you want 67% drop rate increase to give yourself a 100% chance for a bag when you're killing a monster. And that is 67% that has to come from either like item drop rate, or when it comes to familiars, has to come specifically from meso drop rate, because that's split up for familiars, right?
Yes.
So, people from the olden days who have like the spider with 60% meso drop rate, like they have a very easy time, because usually just holy symbol and a spider and you're done. But for you, it'd probably be holy symbol and then at least like 3 lines of item drop rate, probably, to get like 100% chance for bags. And yeah, because of the high meso obtain, like, and compared to non-reboot, you're probably like, I don't even need meso obtain, I have so much. But you'll get used to the numbers with meso obtain, and then you won't be able to go back. So
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that goes up to 100%, right? So typically people go for 5 lines meso, 4 lines drop between their 9 accessories. If they have 9 that can get potential. And then, use that as a base, and then later on try to get an extra like familiar with item drop rate. if you end up getting a familiar with item and meso drop rate, then you can technically, if you want to drop some item drop rate, if you want, if you don't need the nodes and the other familiar cards and all that stuff anymore, but typically you do for a while, because and droplets are also there, so getting as much drop rate in those last 4 slots is always going to be nice. And if you get super lucky and you get some double lines, then you can go a little bit higher, of course, with the combination.
Yeah. So I have a question about that. Do people usually include like the greed pendant in that? Like, do people usually use that for item drop rate or something? Just because it's like dual purpose, you can use it for bossing and you can use it for trading.
Yeah, it's because it got that extra line of equip drop rate. It's sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. We're still not 100% sure on how well it really works on stuff, and it seems that most of the equips where you would want it to work are equips that are not increased, like the drop rate doesn't affect. So it seems a bit, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's terribly important whether you do or you don't, and it's also very difficult to really gauge whether it does a lot, right? Because once you're talking about like being on a total of like 400% drop rate, whether you have 400 or 420%, that becomes increasingly less important because of like decreasing returns. I think a lot of people end up using it. I think I have it on some characters and don't have it on some others. But it's not like a priority for me personally. But I don't know if anyone really swears by it,
Okay, yeah. Because the alternative would be like I could use a slightly stronger pendant while trading as well.
Yeah, and then have the set bonus and everything. But again, like to circle back, your accessories you don't want to have. Don't want to be dependent on them for damage. So you could go for the greed pendant, or you could go for something else, even though that might seem like a significantly big difference now in strength. The further you go, the more insignificant that difference will become. And if you're gonna be upgrading for the end game, then you might as well start with a greed pendant anyway, if you know that you're eventually gonna go to that, because otherwise you'll be stuck with like a legendary horntail pendant that will have no purpose anymore later.
Yeah.
And then that money is
That makes
lost.
sense.
Yeah. I use it in Golix and Prage, still no superior drops. Yeah, I don't think it works on that. But who knows? It might work on that, but yeah, I don't think it does. From everything I've seen, from all the numbers, all the tests and everything I've seen, no drop rate seems to affect superior.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I've gotten lucky a couple times on regular servers, like 2 superior drops.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've had that one time, I think. Yeah, that's exceedingly rare.
Yeah. I had it twice, actually.
Twice, yeah.
I've seen it 2 times since the revamp, but I only have like 200% drop rate on regular servers, and that's including the familiar 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'll still use it. It's better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
It's a little bit extra than nothing.
Yeah, there was. I don't know if it was you, but there was someone who was on non-reboot who did like a bunch of runs on one character that had like full drop rate and one that had no drop rate whatsoever. And there was like a significant difference in basically in cracked and solid and in reinforced, but it was pretty much exactly the same for superior, like over the line. But just one person doing like 1,000 runs or something, I still don't know if that's a significant number. Because what if it does increase it by by 20%, and instead of like 1 in 100 is like a 1 in 80 or something? Like, does that mean that if you do 1,000, you can get like a statistically significant number at that point from one person? I don't know, right?
Yeah, that's difficult to say.
Could just be a little bit unlucky on one character and a little bit lucky on the other, and it just compensates. It's.
Yeah, for sure. Because I've been doing Arcarium on regular servers for a year and a half, and I still haven't seen it dominate.
That was the one thing when I played, like you would see primals never, like those. You'd see one once every month or so. There would be like a primal floating around somewhere, and then everyone would be hoarding them up to make those sorcerer's rings and stuff for the set bonus, just to get like 3 extra weapon attack, crazy stuff like that back in the day. Wow, we used to just be scrounging for singular weapon attacks. Yeah, but now, I mean, I've been running for a long time on like a bunch of characters, but now I've got like 120 of them in my storage, and I don't even think about it anymore.
Primals or Dominators?
Primals, yeah. Dominators are like all spread over my characters, and eventually you have to extract some once you get too many, but that's like first world problem stuff. That's going to be the other thing, is like managing your equipment inventory in Reboot is going to be quite different, and quite a bit more difficult because you have to you have to hold everything on the character itself, and you have to be like short-term, mid-term, and long-term prepared with your same account. So you're gonna have to make some good decisions on what do you hold on to and what do you get rid of.
Oh yeah. So I'm holding on to like 8 Sweetwater staffs right now.
Mm-hmm.
My current one is already 12-star epic with 7% magic attack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure if I should just toss them, like disassemble them, or if I should keep them.
The goal, yeah. So the goal is to be able to CRA and stuff, right, with them, and then switch into Fafnir.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the question is if you want to go up to 17, right?
Yeah. I'm a little bit reluctant, so I guess I'll have to see my damage, but
Yeah.
yeah, just because it's not something that can be transferred into something later.
Yeah, and you're also a bit more of a support character, so you don't spike as hard with your damage as if you're soloing.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I was able to do Project CRA like on mine with like 12-star, but again, like the Legion and Lynx. I think a lot of that can be counteracted with guild skills though, if you have access to those. That's a huge power spike on new characters. So
I noticed you actually like don't do Project CRA with guild skills, which is like a little bit pretty impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, I wanted to make it at least somewhat. You know, I wasn't trying to make a video like this is how strong a level 210 can be, and then like, you know, like fund them out the ass and then make them one-shot things, right? Because I mean, you can do that content if you want, but I don't think that's very useful content. Like my goal was more to see like how strong can a character reasonably be around this level, and of course, you know, you can always have the argument like, okay, is Legion and the Lynx, isn't it way stronger than just having the Lynx skills, or the guild skills? And it's like, okay, but also if you're maining a character and you're putting all of your resources into one character, that character is probably going to be stronger than my character. Plus, you're probably going to have better character control, and I'm pretty bad, and I'm like just jumping into a character that I haven't really played yet. So, you know, there's pros and cons to it. I feel like it's pretty fair. I feel like it's a pretty good depiction of like this is roughly the resources you're going to be working with. I think the one major edge that I have that I think you can't really that you can really account for a newer player on a new character is that I know the bosses inside out, right? Like I've done them 1,000 times, so that's definitely a big advantage. But other than that, I think it's a pretty fair depiction of like this is what the character is capable of around this level. Maybe like 5 or 10 levels higher, which, you know, seems like a lot when you're just starting out, but, you know, if you're actively playing, that's like a week or 2 of playing. It's not completely unimaginable that you just go back 5 or 10 levels later and then do it, you know, with more link skills unlocked, more matrix slots unlocked, and more hyperstat points and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and more symbols as well.
More symbols, yeah, and the arcane power, the amount of stat you get from just the clean arcane power is pretty huge early on. You know, you're like at 6k stat, you unlock a symbol, you get 300. You know, that's a massive boost. That's a 5% stat boost. Like, that's crazy.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to not use guild skills, and I had it as contingencies. You know, like if a class was completely impossible, I could be like, okay, I'm going to use more nodes, or maybe I need to use guild skills, or, you know, as like a backup. But so far, it hasn't been necessary. It's been more kind of like limit testing on me, just trying to improve playing the character. And some of the runs were really close. Battle Mage was one where it was pretty tricky to do Clown, for example. Very tricky.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It was more burst as hard as possible, and then basically do nothing. Wait for cooldowns to come back, suicide, burst again, suicide again. Yeah, because once you have AoEs, you just don't want things hitting both of them, because then you lopside the HP, right? And if the HP is lopsided, then you won't be able to kill them at the same time anymore. It gets really tricky there.
Yeah, it's super messy for Clown.
Yep. Messy is the right word for sure. Yeah.
I think you did a lot of runs for that one as well, right? For Battle Mage?
I think so. Yeah, I kind of lost track on some of them. I think for Shadower and for Xenon, I definitely did the most runs. But Battle Mage was kind of... Battle Mage and like Fire Poison, it was just very important to try to figure out how to do Clown properly. Let's see, Battle Mage. Not too bad. Not too bad. 2 Vellum, 2 Von Bond, 3 Pierre, and 2 Queen. I think the first...
That's not too bad.
Yeah, I think the first PR I probably was like, okay, this isn't possible. I could, or like this should be possible. I could just do better. And then on the second one,
Yeah.
probably was like, okay, never mind. I just have to give in. I basically do like the H-Max strat, right? Where you just walk in, do as much damage as possible, and just stay dead. Wait for the cooldowns to come back, and then just do that. And then, you know, you can never really fail out on 15 lives. The only way you can fail out is if you rage res and just keep throwing bodies at him, and then you will actually die out before you kill him.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of that
I mean,
strat.
yeah, luckily for me, I have a lot of experience with
Mm-hmm.
that because I kind of did like my own solo progression in regular servers.
I see.
So I was kind of like struggling bosses like my whole way through up until like now.
I see.
Yeah.
So,
So I
wait, how
have
far
a
did
lot
you
of
get in
experience this year.
non-reboot? Like, what boss did you
In
get to?
non-reboot, so I've built up to I can solo Darknell and Gloom.
Mm-hmm.
I have like up to Hard Will Party, and I am strong enough for Varicilla, but I just never got a party for it.
I see.
Yeah. Pretty, I would say like decently far. And I'm good with the mechanics on all of those bosses as well. It's just like now I'm playing a new character, so I have to relearn it, especially without all the phantom iframes.
Yeah, I was gonna
Is,
say you had some iframes up your sleeve with that class. There's a
Yeah, like 30-second iframes,
oh yeah, the
iframes with 30-second cooldowns.
mm-hmm. And then one of your
Yeah,
fifth
it
job
was-
skills, right? Like at the end, it was very
Oh yes, those as well.
we throw
So,
out all the
like,
cards.
Yeah, when you're drawing a card, you get an iframe.
Oh, that one, yeah,
then-
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have one. There was
So-
one skill that was kind of scary to do damage in Sivo. Because then a tail would pop up while you're doing it. And you can move like a little bit, but not very much, right?
Yeah.
And then I got stunned by a rock because of it, and that ended my skill. And then the tail came out. I was like, I'm gonna die. I was like, oh no, because my skill ended, the card at the end triggered, and that gave me iframes, so I could just walk out of it. I was like, oh shit, this is
Yeah.
kind of nice.
Even if you got hit by a tail, you wouldn't have died because that gives you like damage reduced while you're throwing out the cards.
Oh,
So you can
damage
actually-
reduction as well. If you just have
Yeah,
full
so you can afford to
HP.
get hit by one tail.
Nice, you could just tank it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's definitely very different with this class. Like I don't even have a slot for ethereal form yet. So right now my only iframe would be Abyssal Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's about it. Besides like Party Shield, which I can cheese a couple of bosses on, like Pap,
Yeah.
Carrium.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's part of the resistance that gives you the nice link skill as well for the immunity if you do die, that you're at least immune for a while.
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty nice one. I guess it's losing a little bit of its value because they're opting for a lot of bosses now for the in-map respawn instead of like the black screen and landing back in it kind of thing. So they're giving like a
Yeah,
little
I
bit of
saw
hit
that.
immunity when you respawn, so that makes it not
And then-
as immediately necessary.
Yeah, and they're also making it so like it doesn't stack with the resistance link. So even if you have like all 8 seconds, you don't get like 10 seconds of iframe. You still
Yeah.
just get 8 seconds.
Yeah, it
It's a
starts
little
at
bit
the same
sad,
time.
but better than nothing, you know.
It'd be pretty OP at the high level bosses. Just like, we're gonna burst.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
10
just int respawn, 10 seconds of invincibility.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
especially
want
for,
that.
like, Will,
Mhm.
yeah, that would be huge with
Yep.
the poison and everything.
Oh yeah, that'd be big. I mean, you do have we have like Kerring and stuff and Interstellar Detectives that gives you like I think it's a 9-second iframe or something, or up to 10 seconds.
Yeah, there's that as well. Actually, considering that instead of like doing Oz, I might just go for like the level 3 crit damage ring and a level 4 cur ring.
Yeah,
But that's like a little bit further down the line for me. I don't think I even need that for like CRA. If
nah,
just
I don't
pop
think so.
guild
No,
skills,
Mhm.
I think I should be good for that.
I think so too. With the amount of skill that you have, and you know, you'll just get better and better at your character as well, using skills at the right time and the positioning. The main thing is like when you teleport or when you jump, like how far does that let you go exactly, and then once you get used to that, based on all the skills that you already know for the bosses, you'll be able to weave in between them very easily.
Yeah, so that's actually one thing that like really bugs me about Battle Mage, because whenever you use Yellow Aura,
Mm-hmm.
or when you have like the Union Aura on, teleport range is actually increased. So every single time that you teleport with either the Union Aura or the Yellow Aura on, it's actually a different range than if I have Dark Aura or like Weakening Aura on.
Oh, I see.
So it's like throwing me off a little bit, but I'm a little bit used to it because I also do like I have a CRA mule on regular servers that's a Luminous.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of the worst classes for mobility, so I'm not too concerned about that for now.
I thought they were pretty strong for CRA, honestly. I thought they got to the point where they could kill pretty easily. But yeah, you definitely have to get used to it. I think teleport is pretty fast, but yeah, it's not very far, so you have to get used to that.
Yeah, teleport is actually like pretty busted in bossing. It's like instant mobility, and I think you said like you don't have to jump up and wait for yourself to come down to attack again.
Yeah, and you have a lot of stuff falling from ceilings in all the boss fights, so you're closing the distance when you jump as well. You put yourself at risk, whereas teleporting you just stay horizontal, so you don't have to risk getting closer to that stuff either. Like for bossing, yeah, I would say teleporting is definitely like superior for bossing, with one caveat, right? Like with hard will phase or like will phase 3, is that a lot of mages don't like being teleport there. They prefer a flash jump there. But in pretty much all of the other situations, yeah, I think teleport. I would think for mobbing, I would always take flash jump, and then for bossing, I would take teleport if I had the choice. So basically, Kaiser, right?
Yeah, basically, Kaiser's a great class. I think Battle Mage actually gets around Will Part 3 pretty well, because I can like just up teleport and dodge the
right, and you have the fall time, yeah. Being able to teleport into nothing, I think only Battle Mage can do that, right? Everyone else needs like a target to teleport to, I think. Oh, maybe, yeah, well, 0 or something, but like from the mages, I mean.
Yeah, I think so. I don't even think Explorer mages can like randomly up teleport.
No, I don't think so. They can jump teleport up to a platform, but not into nothing, I don't think.
Yeah. So I guess that is like Battle Mage specific, or if you're like Luminous in Equilibrium or something.
Oh yeah, then you can, yeah. You think you can like, you can like double, you can like tap.
Yeah.
Make like an L shape, yeah.
Yeah, so right now I'm also like a little bit concerned about how much cubing costs in Reboot. Like I'm trying to get my secondary and emblem. I guess like not really my secondary because I don't have my Demo shield yet. I have a Smith one, the 121, just so I could transfer later.
Yeah.
And my emblem is just unique right now. But I bought a pack of the 30 black cubes and they're on sale, and I'm hoping like maybe there's a DMT later, and maybe I could get that to legendary during the DMT.
Yeah, there were. Did you see about some people getting the announcement?
Yeah, I saw about that. So I'm hoping it's true.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm thinking like.
Yeah, you gotta wonder though, like holding onto it for like a whole month, if that's, like, if that's still the progress, or if that's gonna hold you back from the progress, but.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it right now too. Yeah. Because right now, I don't see myself clearing CRA for a month.
Yeah.
I mean, it could change, honestly. I don't think I'm too far away. I think I need to like double my damage, and then I'm good to go, to be honest.
Yeah, it might come down to a lot to like boost nodes and character control, honestly. That might be a big part of it. And one thing that helped me a lot for the Battle Mage is getting mana overload.
Yeah, so sadly, like, I have every single node except Mana Overload.
Yeah, I see you have most of them, yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I even have like more on the next page, like Resistance Infantry and stuff like that. Able Goddess Blessing, but the only one I'm missing is, I believe, Mana Overload.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Because it's just like a 7% final damage is so free.
Yeah. I was actually talking to a couple of the people on the Battle Mage Discord, and he said like the boost nodes are kind of like a little bit more important than Sharp Eyes even, and I would compare like putting Mana Overload as the same as Sharp Eyes, just because it's like 8% crit damage, like 8% final damage. It's about the same. So I would think like maybe having these extra boost nodes might be helpful instead of like having Mana Overload. But I think by the time I do CRA, I'll be at least like 215, 220. I should have 1 or 2 more slots for that.
Did the person who said that, did they take into account like being able to get to 100% crit though? Because Decent Sharp Eyes is also 10% crit rate, right? So it's not only like the final damage part, but it's also the getting to that final damage part and increasing the final damage over all the critical damage you already have, right?
Yeah. So right now I have like 95% crit if I have like the bossing buff on. With the Beast Tamer, I should definitely be at 100 with that.
Yeah.
But again, this is only with like the bossing buff on, the 1/3 number of mobs hit.
Right.
So I'm not too concerned about that. I'm just
is that at
about like
20%
damage. I believe it's 20%, yeah. And then you also get like some crit damage and some damage as well.
Yeah. But then when you're mobbing, you're a bit short.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always weird when you have skills like that. You have to really plan around that.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Hopefully you get a bunch of extra crit from other stuff so that you can do like without the Phantom Link when you're bossing, and then you just add the Phantom Link when you're mobbing, and then you're good, something like that.
Yeah. That would be nice. But, from what I hear, they also say like Battle Mage's mobbing is super strong compared to like many other classes.
Mm-hmm.
So they say like, oh, it's not too bad if you're not 100% crit rate when you're training.
Yeah, you've got a lot of stuff that you're throwing out. So then if you're, yeah, there'll be a lot of things hitting. So even if something doesn't one-shot, something else will finish it off before the respawn. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of dashing around, and it's pretty involved from what I've seen, or from what I've, at least how I was doing it. More involved than a lot of other characters as well. But it's a style, yeah. It's a style that you get used to, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sort of getting used to it. I just don't have the damage because, again,
Yeah.
the mob HP is so high.
Yeah, I always telling people like, oh, it's all about fun, but you know, killing things quickly can be kind of fun.
Yeah, and also for me, like I'm a bit reluctant to pop a wild totem if I can't like one shot or like two shot very reliably.
Mm-hmm.
So then I could just like train on regular mobs and stuff like that.
Yeah, when it comes to wild totems,
Like,
are you? Because I guess that ties back into the like not having a Kana on the side, right? Like, are you good on the totem coverage and everything?
I think so. Yeah, like I get my daily RP and everything. And I have like a little bit of extra RP to spend on wild totems.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see myself going over 30 hours right now because I just don't have that time in a month, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Busy with school?
Oh yeah, school, life, other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Other stuff than life. Oh boy. You know.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that would be.
Yeah. And stuff outside the universe, stuff like that.
Maybe like saving the galaxy or something.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel out here. I'm kidding.
Secret identity revealed. Like,
I used the 5, 10, 15 to like try to prepare some stuff. I have like my being belt at 16 stars.
Mm-hmm.
I transfer that. I made an Utgard weapon,
Mm-hmm.
to 16 as well, in case I ever when I get the Fafnir weapon, I could just instantly get 15 stars on it.
Okay, nice.
Other than that, I'm not. Yeah, I'm like waiting on some MCC or like Meister drops from bosses to get all my rares to epics at least, and 6%, because I don't want to like power through them with occults.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Getting occults are, I mean, they're really nice until they're not, and then they're really shit.
Yeah.
They're just a waste of time at some point. That's a nice overall flame you got there.
Oh yeah, that was insane. That was the first day that I was on reboot and I got that.
Your CRA is
Super
not going to
happy
be this
with
good, just so you're mentally prepared.
Yeah.
Eventually,
but
maybe.
I can get 2 pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get 2 pieces of potential, so that'll make up for it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be one of those pieces, right? Once you get your CRA, you just get a 130 overall, 140 overall, transfer, and then potential carries over.
I have those saved up as well.
Use well, you know about that, right? About the like the elite bosses, the bonuses, and the runes of riches and stuff. You can get a lot of epics from that.
Oh yeah.
Those are typically also pretty helpful in the beginning. Not needing e-pots, not needing potential scrolls.
Yeah, I'm trying to like save my event coins and like not buy e-pots, but
yeah,
it's holding me back a little bit with these 3% ints.
Mm.
And unfortunately I'm also waiting for like a better face accessory. Just because this one does not cut it for me, so I haven't upgraded it at all.
Right, you're just getting another one and then like fusing them, see if you get something nice.
Yeah. Hopefully just like get a nice drop like this. The eye accessory, I think this is decent. I try to settle for like 45 to 50 at least.
Yeah, that's what on my project CRA, that's what I'm aiming for as well, like 45ish, and anything higher is cool, but like 45 is typically good enough. Unless like every single item in the whole character is like barely 44, 45, then I might try like on the higher level ones, like on the cup or on the belt, I might try a little bit higher, but pretty much, but usually there's like, you get like 1 or 2 outliers that are like in the 60s or like close to 70, and then you're like, okay, that kind of like evens out, and then that makes the whole progress good.
Yeah, the earring is really nice, 55 with 62 luck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, so I'll probably like, I'm thinking about 15 starring all the 130s, or 16 starring and then transferring. I have a reinforced earring already. Somebody was kind enough to carry me through Helix and a reinforced earring drop. So I have that set up for superior, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to fit 16 star this, and then 16 star the reinforced, and then put that into a superior eventually. The belt is ready to be set 16 star transferred, and then all the armors are ready for like Empress transfers as well.
Oh yeah.
To get the pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Von Leon is fine for now, and then you can move into Empress and get that 6% in there immediately. As long as you get those in-between pieces. And it's pretty cheap. Like, if you, as soon as you can start killing normal sickness quite quickly, then you can get those pieces quite quickly. Because it's like, how many items drop from one run? It's like 9 or so?
I want to say that much, but...
Or 7, 8,
less
9?
without the item drop, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Might be a little bit
Probably
less.
get like at least 10 a week if I do it with the resets from Critias.
Yeah. And it's like 5 pieces, right, for one armor?
Yeah. Then if I ever need backups for like the 17 or 18 star, I might as well just like not protect it and just run Julieta a bunch and hopefully get those Empress pieces.
Julieta.
Yeah.
that
I don't know
you know,
if
you're gonna get carried on everything, you should get carried on Julieta. That boss is just
is
so
it, is
buggy.
it that bad?
It's just so buggy. Like you can just crash about 80% of the time, I think.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing as well, so I'm a bit reluctant to do it.
Yeah, you just go with someone who's strong, who just one-taps it, and then you pick up the title, which is pretty much best in slot, and then you just get straight to the box, and you just open up the box for yourself, because no one who can kill the boss that quickly needs anything from the box anyway. And then once you have a strong character, you just like exchange with other people just to get the titles for like some free damage on all the mules.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. From what I see from the wiki, Julieta only has like 12.6 bill HP, which is about the same as like normal Arcarium.
Yeah, there's just phases to it. Like she gets a shield and you can't hit her for a while, and then there's another phase. And then there's a phase where you have to do like a little jump quest to climb up a tower. And then you can barely hit her, and then she does like AoEs on the entire area. Everything one-shots you. And then if you have lives left, you have to fight like jellyfish falling from the sky, and then there's a bunch of healing that she can do. If they land, they constantly heal everything around it. But then she pushes you into the left corner of the fight, but then if she's so far to the left, you can just jump behind her and just kill her from behind, and then you get pushed a little bit to the left, but not that much, so you can just stay behind her and just kill her from there. But then you have to outdamage the healing of the jellyfish on the other side if you let them land. It's it's
Okay,
an interesting.
that sounds pretty messy.
It's GMS exclusive content. Okay, so that's
sounds about right.
Yeah. If you're on the floor, you part 1 UDC. Yeah, but I know that, so I specifically always avoid falling in, and I do as little as possible and just avoid and dodge, and I still DC over half the time. But the game, it just closes. And a lot of times what happens is it's not your game closing, but it's like you go to the login, to the channel screen where it's like unable to connect to the server, which it basically means there's some kind of internal error that you just have no control over.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, the hitboxes on top of the tower is like... Basically, on my DS I was able to do it. I would just like jump up, glide off the tower, dodge the attack, and then glide back on it. Like that would be like the only way.
Okay, so maybe I'll say that for a little bit later. Like if I'm trying to get to Lolomian.
It does spend a run if you DC, yeah. But I think you have 2 runs, and if you run 2 or 3 runs, and then if you run 3 times, then you get a coupon for an extra run or something like that. So you can do 1 extra, but yeah, you just want to find a strong person and just burst it and then move on. It's not fun content. I wish it was like interesting fun content, so we would like part of the solo ladder that you have, right? That it could actually be in there, but oh yeah, you have Julieta in there, yeah. But yeah, no, I'll take normal arc any day of the week.
I thought it'd be easy because it's the same as normal arc, but apparently not.
Yeah, well, the prequests are also a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, I've actually never done it on regular servers, so.
There are people used to do it to power level characters, because you could do it very low level. You could do it at like level 60 or something, and people just do the whole monad on level 60 character and get all the way up to like 130 or something, just for doing the whole storyline, and it'd basically be about the same or even a little bit faster than grinding it out, but way more fun because it's a bit, it's more interactive and stuff than just finding maps and finding high level burn and using coupons and everything. But instead of this, it'll be like a budget way of leveling. But I think you have to be over 100 now, or 120 even or something to be able to do it. So it's not nearly useful for leveling anymore, sadly.
Okay, that actually sucks pretty bad. Yeah, but that kind of brings me to my next point. So how do people like do Legion? How do people make Legion characters that are easy or fun to train? Because what I noticed is like I can blast through first job because you just do the quests, and then you can just blast through second job because you just do all the theme dungeons. Then from like 60 to level 140, it kind of like slows down a lot, and it seems like characters really struggle there a lot. So like, is there any content to do from like 60 to 140, or is there like a fast way? And how do people particularly gear their characters quickly to get trained to 200?
Well, there's like in general the leveling guide, right? Just like on what areas to level on. They'll be very similar to what you did in Reboot, but you typically stay there until you're higher level, right? Because of the level difference penalty and because of the HP of the monsters, you can't just go to monsters like 15 levels above you. You just won't be able to kill them at all. So you stay on the lower items a little bit. I mean, typically at 60 you get your third job and then you go to Drakes. Like Copper Drakes is a really good map, especially and some people will dedicate totems, right, to like power leveling their mules. If you throw a totem like on that map, there's just so many Drakes out there that even when you're burning, sometimes you just stay there until like level high 80s and then go from there straight to like Nihal Desert and then go to like Desert of Serenity to get the last 10 levels or like 12 levels out and then go kill Zakum. If not, then there's some levels in between. Some people go to like the Skelly Dogs, and some people go to like El Nath to the Wolves, and then other people go to Magashia, maybe intermediate before they go to Nihal Desert, and some people go straight to Nihal Desert. Group-ins, yeah, so there's like a bunch of opportunities, but like honestly around that point a lot of your funding will come from your Legion and your links. So typically what I tell people is in the beginning there's just so much power in numbers when it comes to your Legion, and just getting access to more Legion and getting all of your link skills unlocked, even if it's just level 1 link skills in the beginning, is just very good value. Because you know your top 40 characters count. You have 37 more characters that can count for your Legion. If all of those are just level 70, that's like a 2.5k Legion increase, right? Then you're basically at 3k Legion. And then 3k Legion is a huge spike because then you get to put 5 extra characters on the board and you get another extra grid, right? 2k you get the extra grid, 3k you get another extra grid available. And then you can really dump into that crit rate and that crit damage. And that's where all of the damage is going to come from for Legion mules. It's not necessarily going to come from having better gear or spending a lot of money on star forcing or anything like that. It's going to come from getting your critical rate up, so you always hit a crit, and then boosting your critical damage. And that can come from your board and from your from your hyper stats later, but that can mainly come from your board and from the member bonuses of your Legion. So as long as you kind of follow that order, right, in the Legion and links, and you just mass shit out characters to hit that 40 benchmark, and you get all the level 1 links, that all added up together will make every character so strong that you get from 70 to 100 very quickly. And that's basically going to be getting you from 3k past 4k Legion. That'll be another spike because your board is going to grow again. And then from 100 to like 140, typically what a lot of people do, what I did, is just kill Zakum daily and maybe do Monster Park. And then just ride that wave up until 140. And then if you have all 140s, then you're at 6k Legion. Then you get another big spike, then your board is, completely available. And then you can be like, okay, I'm going for 8k Legion, I'm going for those level 200s, and then it becomes time to like fund your characters a little bit. Usually I just, get a bunch of Pencilier, just pick up whatever has OK Flames on it, use some Occult Cubes, right? Because by then you'll probably have built up a bunch of Occult Cubes from bossing on your main, because you don't really need them there anymore. You probably got a bunch of potential scrolls and stamps from bosses that you don't need there anymore, and then you can use that to like trickle down into your other characters like one at a time. And the main thing is getting your WSE to epic, right? 6% weapon or magic attack, that's really important. And then for all the other pieces, get at least 3 or 6% stat. Basically get it in like a similar position of where your Battle Mage is now, but you'll get it a little bit earlier, everything to like 10 or 11 stars. And usually because a lot of your money that you're investing comes in value of boss drops, you're not really losing that money because you already have it like saved up in your inventory. So the amount of money you spend is usually like 300 mil or something to fund a character at like 140 to be strong enough to get all the way up to 200, because you have your legions, you have your legion, you have your link skills, all of that stuff at that point. Plus you might even have legion coins available that you can use for some of those booster potions. and all you're really riding on at that point is like experience coupons from events, experience coupons from like event shops, maybe specifically if you have to participate in that. And what some people will do is they'll go until like, you know, they won't do that funding, and then basically it just completely shuts down by like 155 or something. It just gets too slow, right? So what people might do then, especially on characters that they don't like, which is more likely if they can't kill anything, but that's a a side thing, is what they'll do. They'll wait for events where you have like bonking potions or like bonking events, and then they'll slowly get them up to like 180, 190, like that, and then maybe wait for some level up potions to get them to 200. And then hope that 5th job is going to save a character that has the funding of a level 110. Surprise, it doesn't. And then it'll squeeze out like 1 or 2 levels, and then wait for another 8 level up potions to get to 210. That's like, you know, if you have years and years to do that over. Yeah, I prefer the first method where you have like a little bit, and you can definitely kind of tell once you get to 140 and you're trying out at 140 a little bit if a character is like completely not your style but has good value for your account. Then you can wait for a mega burn, terra burn, well, not a mega burn at that point, but like a terra burn maybe to if the level 3 link skill is good and you do want to get it eventually, and then you just use that as a path of low resistance. But if you do, you know, think it's okay and it's doable, then you can crush out from 140 to 200. Typically it's in like 2 totems or something. People who are really fast, I think, do it in 1 totem. But it'll depend, you know, if you have totems available, if you have the time and you're like, I don't really want to grind my main at this point. Maybe it's not very efficient at this point. You know, you kind of try to balance out the time between Legion and your main. I think it's good to always do like, to every day do a little bit of Legion, just to have like a slow and steady progress there. Yeah, because even if it's 1 character day you create and get to like level 60, that means in a month you're looking at 2k Legion increase almost, right? And
yeah, that makes sense.
It was never fun for me to go like 100% main, 0% Legion, or 100% Legion, 0% main. I think it's good to find a balance and change that balance a little bit as events come around that help that. Like if there are triple EXP coupons that you can get like per character per day, that might be a good idea to work a little bit more on Legion, right? Because then you can capitalize on all of those characters on that every day, versus if there's something that just gives you a huge buff for like 4 hours a day, well, now it's a better time to go on your main, because then you can make some insane gains there. So depending on the type of event. Yeah,
that makes sense. My question would be like, instead of a pencilier gear, would it be, I think it would be good if I like maybe just sit on a character at maybe like 120 or 140, and then I could do like Hilla once every day and see what I get from the necro gear and use that all the way to 200. Would that be like a little bit better than the pencilier? Because I'm wondering if I could get like some good flame advantage stuff from that.
So pencilier isn't bad because it does have the percentage damage to normal monsters in the set bonus. And because percentage damage also comparatively is a bit better now, right? Because of the reboot passive. I don't think it's that bad if you're purely looking at it from grinding. For my project CRA, I did that, right, for the necro gear, because I want that flame advantage and I want the damage to bosses. And there's even like a little bit of boss damage in the set, but most of the characters I didn't reach that. But then I would say it's better. Plus, you can just do Hilla on like 4 characters, see if 1 character gets good gear, and then take that one out and take another character into the rotation, and then just like slowly move your way up. And you don't have to do it like 1 character at a time, but you can just do like, you know, you can very easily do like 5 or 6 Hilla runs in a day. It takes almost no time. That's why I like the strategy of doing like 6 or 7 or whatever Zakum runs a day, because it's like almost no time but a lot of return, and you don't have to think about coupons, you don't have to think about finding a map or gearing your character very much. Once you're level 100, you pass 4th job, Zakum kills are super easy, as long as you remember not to kill them too quickly, because the experience is in the arms. Some people kill Zakum a little bit too quickly and they're like, oh, Zakum is so slow now. It's like, well, if you're killing Zakum too fast, then it is really slow, because all the arms will just wither and not give you the EXP. So that's an important caveat there. I think it's I would like probably advise to do that, what you said, like with the necro gear, on characters that you enjoy and you want to have a little bit more of the experience of playing the character. like you're doing with your Battle Mage now. If you're just trying to shit out level 200s because you want to get a big Legion, then just go Penciler. You can get set, like, yeah, you can, because there's power in numbers there exactly, again, right? You can just go on a character for like half an hour, kill in a map, see how many pieces you get, just pick the strongest ones, upgrade those, and move on the next day and like grind it out, or the same day. With Hilla, you're time gated with how many entries you can have and whether you get something good or not. And that can like kind of stop you from making progress in that sense as well.
That makes sense. I was thinking more of like, instead of shitting out like 200s, I might just do a bunch of 150s because that'll get me to 6k. If I do like 40 150s.
Yeah, you'll get that with 140s as well, because a few of them will be higher, a few of them will be burns at like 151. You'll have a few 200s and 210s from Terra burns like you do now, and your main will be higher. So even with mostly 140s, you'll reach 6k. Or very close to it. And then maybe like 1 or 2 200s, right? You can think of like Jet, Shade, and Hayato, for example, that'll be really good 200s, and maybe a Mechanic.
Yeah,
like if you get those to 200 and everything else 140, you'll be good too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I have to save Mechanic for another Terra burn because that class got dumpstered on the recent patches.
Yeah, I haven't changed it since because like the main attack went from a Hurricane skill to like a spam one, right? Was that a really
like
bad change?
A one shot. They didn't like increase the damage on it at all, so it just does like 25% mob HP, and it doesn't kill anything unless you hit it like 4 or 5 times.
That's
so it's
unfortunate.
Really bad right now. Yeah.
It's not like they were in such an OP state that needed to be nerfed or anything either. So.
Yeah, they just said they wanted to change it because like people like the playstyle of like one tap keys instead of like key downs instead.
Yeah, like jump attacks instead of being like not. Yeah, I don't know. People are already complaining about mechanics, so yeah, they wanted to change something. I get that, but no.
Yeah, but I don't see myself needing Mechanic too much because what is it like? The Resistance Legion, the Link is okay. Legion 20% buff duration. Like I could use that, but it's not too big of a deal, I would say.
Yeah, some characters rely on it much more heavily for sure.
Yeah.
So
I might save Mechanic for like somewhere in the middle or the bottom.
Yep.
Because it's in such a bad state right now that I don't want to make another one.
Yeah, just wait for a burn. Yeah. Or like a mega burn is also fine, right? It's probably a good target for that.
Yeah. I have fun with most of the Legion characters, to be honest, if not all of them. So I don't mind actually training them up to like 140, 150, most of them without burns. I did that actually almost entirely on my regular server. Like I only made like 5 out of my 49 characters with Terra burns or mega burns.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I quite enjoy like doing Legion. So I might actually end up just going like the Necro route. I just like maybe 2 or 3 characters every day, see what I get on Necro and Zakum.
Yep.
And I try to gear it up from there.
Yep, that works.
Yeah, but Mechanic, definitely not Mechanic anytime soon.
That one's gonna get shifted down in the list a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I wish they made it better, but it's just so bad right now. Even like Blaster is so much better right now, and Wild Hunter as well. If I wanted the Resistance Link.
With the Resistance, yeah. Yeah, Blaster just hits hard, like lots of damage.
It's really hard. Yeah, especially with the bobbing and weaving final damage, I think. Like if you get it at 10 stacks, I believe you get like 60% final damage or something.
Oof, yeah. Yeah, I was just more of
it
a
just hits like a truck.
Spam, jump, and shotgun punch kind of guy. But even before then, like those skills, they kill quickly.
Yeah, it just eats up a lot of mana, but that's whatever.
Yeah. That's what you got potions for. Finally something to use potions on. Once you're further on your main, you just never use potions.
Yeah, basically.
It gets weird.
I have stacks of the power elixirs on my regular server as well. Because I just use the guild potions and I never run out in a week.
Yeah,
so I guess
the main thing is you never even use the reboot potions anymore once you get a bigger legion because they won't heal enough of your HP and MP. Yeah.
You just use like the ginger ales instead.
Yeah, pretty much just ginger ales or like regular or power elixirs from other bosses. Yeah.
So I guess I'll try to target those level 1 and level 2 links first, and then maybe try to get to 140 on the characters.
Yeah, a bunch of level 1 links and at least 2k legion. 3k legion is where you see the biggest. That's when the snowball will really start running down the hill, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I think I felt something like that too when I was in regular.
Yeah, 3 grids plus the 5 extra characters. That's because it's one thing also to get the 6k Legion and to have access to the full grid, but it's another thing to get to 8k and actually be able to fill it. Because I think
Yeah.
the last session, was it the last? Oh no, that was like a session off screen with someone who just got 6k, and that's really cool. You have like the whole grid, but you can they could basically fill critical damage and ignore defense, and then make a line across to the other side and put like 1 or 2 pieces in critical rate, and that was it. You know, so it's like yeah, that's still quite a step away from like
yeah, for sure.
from like what I have, for example, because all the individual pieces in there just cover so much more area. Yeah, it was like
Yeah, it was the same for me.
basically
Like,
less than this, yeah. And then the 8k just adds this, and it's like boom.
and you have like the lab server block, so
Yeah.
that gives you what, an extra like 9 pieces or something.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, that's definitely an extra on top of that. That I hope they bring that back. Lab content was actually really fun. I hope more people get to enjoy that.
Yeah, I hope so too. But yeah, we'll just have to make do. I felt the same way when I hit 6k on regular servers and I couldn't even get any points into ignore defense.
Yeah,
It's just like crit damage and boss damage. Yeah.
It's like the fish in Finding Nemo in the plastic bag. They're like, oh, now what? Like, we got it here, but now we can't even use it. Like, shit, we forgot something.
I think something's definitely missing.
Yeah, they want you to feel like you need to get more efficiency out of it, so that you need to level more. I mean, and honestly, once your Legion is at that point, cranking out the 2Ks is very doable. The level 200s, I mean, is very doable.
Yeah, it gets so much faster.
Get your hyper skills.
Especially with like all the crit damage, like basically 100% crit rate on every new character.
Yeah, immediately. Yep. The crit rate and crit damage is huge. A lot of people kind of stare too much into like the bonus EXP and they want to get the bonus EXP maxed, but that's 40 grid for 10%. That's just very inefficient. Yeah,
that's nothing.
That's if you have 8k and you want to go past 200. That's when you go bonus EXP, but you typically don't want to go into bonus EXP. Maybe a little bit in the hyper stats. It's mainly just all critical rate and critical damage. You want to hit 100 crit and you want to hit as much critical damage, and that extra kill speed will give you way more EXP than the bonus EXP ever can. That's way more than 10% bonus. Because if you're going for 3-shot to 2-shot, you're already getting 33% bonus pretty much. Like, that's already 3 times the efficiency.
Yeah. That was the same for me on reg server. Like, I didn't put into EXP until I had extra stuff. Yep. You know, it's just like full crit damage investment, 100% crit rate.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever's left over is EXP.
Yeah. I mean, most characters don't need that 40 crit rate, right? Most characters are okay with like 25 like or something. 20, 25. And then some, because like, especially like way in the beginning, you might need the 40, but a lot of characters get a second or third job and sometimes a fourth job with critical rate, and then they can wean off of it. And then you could go into bonus EXP. But yeah, I wasn't going to move my my whole Legion every single time the character had like a little bit more crit, so I just had my bossing and my mobbing set up, and that was it. So
yeah, it's a bit too sweaty just to move that stuff around every single time.
Yeah. What happened now? Yeah, exactly.
Move a block over.
Yeah. I mean, when you're further, I mean, once you have all the characters, then you make like a mage and a non-mage setup, right?
Yeah.
Like one prioritizing all the int and then the other one prioritizing all the strength, basically, or pretty much all the strength.
Yeah, probably luck and dex for me, because I'm going to be making some thieves for the secondary stat.
Yep. Yeah, int and luck on one, and then luck and dex, and probably also strength in the other one, and then the same, like beast tamers everywhere, and kanas everywhere, and DSs everywhere, like the staple ones, the critical damage ones.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll always make sense, because those will be the biggest pieces as well, so those are always the priority to put in.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, sadly it looks like I might be making a Kana very soon.
I mean, when it comes to Link skill and Legion buff, they're also really good. Plus, they're fast levelers, so they're easy Legion levels. So, I mean, every account has at least one of them. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's already 3 really good reasons to make one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably just going to do it for the Link and the Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed Kana is like running amok in Reboot. Like half the players are just Kanas.
Oh yeah, it's actually not as bad now. I would think it was the beginning of this year or something. There was some kind of crazy botting thing when the amount of kanas was just out of this world. Like every single map had a kana botting in it, and there was just no free maps anywhere. I'm glad they got, or that was like end of last year, early this year or something. But they got rid of pretty much all of those, and then it was finally like, oh, we can breathe again. You know, there's room again to do stuff. But yeah, even after that, yeah, the population, I think it's 50% kana or something. Isn't it like MapleStory.gg or something?
.gg or something, yeah.
Or one is the,
I recall something like that.
One is the Korean one and one is the GMS one. I think. Oh yeah, this is the Maple.gg is the yeah. Reboot NA is 54%. Can you see?
In class kana 18. That's
12.8.
You split it by world.
Yeah, let me see if I can. Statistics. Don't never know exactly how this thing works. GMS. This goes by rankings, so you can basically pull it from the rankings. I think the higher you go, the higher the percentage for kana goes. Yeah, it just goes up and up and up and up until you go at the very highest. That it might go down again. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's still the highest.
24% at 255 plus. 260 plus, it's 21%. Yeah, so it goes down a little bit there, but yeah, it's basically 1 in 4 people. And then of those 1 in 4, you know, most people have at least the kind of same level or higher that are just farming on it every day.
Yeah, or like Kishin rules is basically.
A lot of Adels because of Link skill? Nah, because it's just a brain dead main and it's just super strong at everything. It's very easy to play skills like crazy.
Adel's not the worst. I think it was definitely broken on release, but Adel now, it's a little bit overtuned, but pretty balanced.
Oh, yeah, no, like KMS Tespia Adel was...
I remember they nerfed cleave from like 330% to like 275%. That's like a 25% damage.
And the range of it as well. It used to have a way bigger hitbox at the same time.
Yeah, it was just way too much on release.
Yeah,
but it's like fair now. Still like easy.
Yeah, it's definitely overtuned. It's definitely not as bad. I would say it's probably still like objectively probably behind Kana, like the second strongest character. I would say like across the board, but the distance is definitely not as great as it was like right on release. It was just ridiculous. Like even 3 stacks of your passive, like giving 15% IED and 15% final damage the whole time. That that needed to be dialed back a little bit as well.
Yeah, I remember that was like the first class that I brought into Vanishing Journey, and I actually one-shot the Happy Urdas with it.
You're like, wait a minute.
The only class it ever happened on.
The other classes got one-shot, and this one did the one-shotting.
Yeah. Well, after the 30 Arcane Force, after like getting the first symbol.
Yeah, that makes
still,
it
like,
way
insane
easier.
With how much damage it does.
I think did they start with Adele giving like those overtuned fucking titles with all the stats on it?
I think they did, yeah.
That made going into Vanishing Journey so much easier. If you combine that with like the guild skill. Oh, maybe that was also when the hyper stat changed where you were able to, well, I guess that would be in effect after the Happy Urdas, but being able to get arcane power from your hyper stat was also a huge boost to new players in the Vanishing, in Arcane River, I guess, in general.
Yeah. I was just super surprised by how strong the class is. And Kayn too, actually. Kayn is quite strong as well.
I think Kayn started, I think, well balanced. Yeah, maybe a little bit on the weaker side, but their burst was surprisingly high. I don't think many people had like the right expectation of how good their burst was going to be. It's pretty busted. And then now with the changes, it's much more easy also to activate their burst and to have a little bit of DPM as well. So I think they're in a really good spot. I think they're a very solid character. Yeah, I like their release. I like that their release wasn't super overtuned and then they just nerf, but instead being a little bit more cautious and then giving them some buffs later on. I think that might be accidental, but that I think that could show a little bit more, I don't know, like maturity, I guess, in like releasing characters.
Yeah, for sure. I like the Kayn release just overall. It was a fun class too, good story and everything. Yeah, I would have played it, but like I kind of wanted to choose a slightly supportish character in Reboot. to show up those damn kanas, even though I'll never be able to live up to it.
Yeah, no, one day
Yeah.
Kana will just get gutted out of nowhere, and then the rise of the Battle Mage will happen. Just bide your time.
Honestly, I thought it was this year. I honestly thought they would get gutted this year, but I could understand why they wouldn't want to. Reboot is kind of like super dependent on kanas right now.
Yeah, and even if they thought it would be better for the balance of the game, if the players end up quitting because of it, then it's not better, right? If you end up losing your player base, then that's a pretty shitty thing. I guess to go back to the equips and everything, because we're coming up on the hour and a half. Well, we just passed it, but I guess you can still, if you get Master Craftsman, I guess you're jumping those into your emblem now to see if you can get some magic attack.
I'm actually keeping that for now because I don't think like a magic attack line is going to be much better than 12% int. Just because like I'm a bit early game, so I have a lot more int than attack in terms of proportion. I was just holding on to this emblem until the DMT.
Right.
You could probably just drop black cubes on it at that point.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you're holding on to those anyway, might as well push. Might as well push. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And there's some other stuff that can still go to
the epic, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get those to epic. They're just not tearing up.
Yeah.
Badly, and I don't want to buy MCC just because that's a waste of meso.
A little bit, yeah. I think I did it way back when I started, but we're talking years ago, so it's a different climate now for sure. Access to everything is different.
Yeah. I gotta save it for those arcane droplets. So.
Exactly. It's mainly yeah. You can still get arcane droplets from the shop for the black beans, right?
Yeah, which I'll have like almost none of, but that's okay. I think it's like with the droplet change, it's gonna be like 5 bill per armor piece. If you like straight up buy the droplets, because it's like 50 mil per droplet and 108 per piece. Yeah, so it's about like 5 bill per armor, which is not too bad in reboot.
No, it's not too bad. I mean, it gets pretty messy once you add like the value of the flames and the Star Force and on everything, and you do ×5 and you do for like multiple characters. Then it's like, okay, we're not gonna get like a whole legion of arcanes, but because then the main bottleneck just becomes getting enough runs in, right? Getting enough Lucid and Will runs in.
Yeah, at that point, I'd probably be like, like trade carrying Lomian to get like Apsos on my mules if I wanted to make a second bossing mule or something, or just a bossing mule in general.
Yep. Yeah, then those Terror Burns can come rear their ugly heads again. If they're like 210 or 220, then they'll be first up on the block. I guess, I mean, as much as you want to play something else than Phantom, since the class in and out, it'll be pretty easy turning into a bossing mule, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be too bad to play it like half an hour a day, or half an hour a week, I guess.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I still go on regular servers and I do like Mycernium, Burnium, and like Ursus just for like some base meso income. That's like 30 minutes a day on regular servers, and I just try to put like the rest of my time here.
I see.
Trying to get this as far as possible.
Right. Okay. Are there any other things that we skipped over, or things that you feel like we can address?
Let me just check my list of questions.
Yeah, check your lists.
No, I think that's about it. I think we covered about everything that I wanted to ask about.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any pieces where we didn't address it at least a little, or where you're obviously not lost on anything. You've been watching the stream quite a bit, and you've plenty of experience with the game, so
yeah,
there's not much for me to pull out of the hat for you. I mean, it's mainly going to be, I hope it stays fun, that it's like the same game but also a different game at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm feeling, actually. It's a good change of pace.
Yep. Yeah, because you're not only doing a different class, but you're like, you're just experiencing it in a completely different way, so that's always pretty cool. If you're clustered to just only doing reboot, then you have to get a different character to basically do that. But yeah, if you're coming from non-reboot, then you have 2 layers, 2 dimensions of re-experiencing the game. So, I mean, I hope you enjoy that whole that story, that whole traveling.
I'm enjoying it for now, because I'm gonna try to get to solo Lomian, like solo progression, except Helix, because Helix is just dumb the way it is right now. So I don't mind taking a couple of Helix carries, but everything else I'm trying to do solo.
Yeah, it's just such a giant blockade.
Yeah.
Such an unfun with the hitboxes and the, I don't know. I could see why they repositioned it in the game because of how good the set bonus was, but like the way that the boss works now is not the way to go. I don't like when the difficulty increase means hitboxes are unpredictable, mechanics are janky, and it's buggy as hell. Like that's not sure that makes it more difficult, but that's not the kind of difficulty I think is good for balance or good for enjoyment in the game, or for challenge.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
But yeah,
I have good health experience though, so I don't die too much unless I do get hit by like a random double pattern, like it does hand and bind, and then it does a seduce right afterwards.
oh yeah. Those really quick 1-2 punches.
Yeah, that's the only time I usually die in Helix.
No. Or you teleport next to a hand too quickly, and then the hitbox lingers a little bit. You get smacked by it. Or you forget to get a buff freezer beforehand, and you just like keep rezzing into death.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to do stuff without buff freezers for now. I might just take some to CRA, just get it over with quickly. But even in like regular servers, I didn't take buff freezers into Lomian. Only started in like normal Lucid taking buff freezers.
Yeah, I think it also depends on if you're doing like the whole thing with drop coupons and stuff like that, because then it's just like with guild skills, right? Then it's really annoying if you lose those. It's not really because you're afraid of dying or something, but it's just way more convenient. If you die like once or twice while you're doing all of your bosses, it's worth the 10 mil to not have to, rage out because something weird happens and you lose all your coupons, because that's just so annoying.
Yeah, for sure. Like just for like the quick progression, I don't want to be losing guild skills during like CRA runs and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I mean that basically means that you have to go find something else to do for an hour.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I've already kind of like experienced what it is being a noob and like struggling all the bosses, so not too worried for like starting with buying buff freezers now and everything, especially with the cost, getting so much meso in Reboot. So
yeah, exactly. The 5 mil. Though you don't want to go too crazy on it, you can get to the point fairly quickly where it's an insignificant cost for the amount of utility it gives.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely changed a lot of the bosses in the game because of how guaranteed we can have really big buffs active for like whole durations now.
Yeah, the new guild skill changes are nice. Like the 10 free skill points if you have like an active guild. 40 people doing 5 missions a week.
Yep.
Super nice.
And the crit damage skill is just broken.
Yeah.
So much damage, so
yeah. The only thing I wish they changed is like even if a guild skill isn't maxed, I wish they made it still like 60-minute cooldown. That'd be nice. But
yeah, it's so long now. I feel like an hour is already prohibitive enough to use
like
it.
if you have 1 point in the skill, it's like, oh, it lasts 2 minutes, but you have like a 3-hour cooldown on it.
Yeah, that's pretty unnecessary. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't have any more questions for now. I don't want to take up any more of your time.
Yeah,
so
that's fine. Well, you know where to find me if there's anything.
Yeah, so I'm good for now.
Okay.
Thank you for everything with the advice on the progression.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I guess I'll see you around on stream.
For sure. Good luck, and I'll see you in the chat. You're there quite a bit, so I'll be sure to shout out if there's any big milestones that you hit, so we can cheer you on. I guess CRA is you haven't cleared any of the CRA yet, right?
No. I'll probably work on like Czak and normal Empress for now.
Yep.
I think I do have the damage. I just need to like iron out the mechanics a little bit.
Yeah, figure out your telecasting, which directions, when to use the shield, because it's not 100% uptime, of course, so you want to use it at the right times.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, best of luck, and I'll see you around.
Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Bye. All right. So yeah, another person making the transition. We saw a few more people doing that in the chat. Maybe just because the game is a bit more active around this time, but a lot more people come over from non-reboot into reboot and just dipping their toes a little bit, trying to see what it's all about. I hope I can, add to the rhetoric that, not everyone on Reboot hates non-Reboot people, and vice versa, we're just all trying to have fun. And yeah, depending on, what situation your life is in, one can be more reasonable than the other. Some people have noticed that they've just spent too much money, but they still want to keep playing Maple, so they go to Reboot instead, and then they just spend the same amount of money on Gachapon and on hairstyles instead. But, you know, leaving that aside, there they go, MVP red on permanent transparent NX items. You know, you'll never escape from the opportunity to spend money, okay? But you can escape from the necessity to spend money. For some people, that's enough. For other people, you know, they'll just find ways. But yeah, so for all the people who just joined Reboot or who are thinking about checking out Reboot if you're coming from non-Reboot, so maybe you can see this as your introduction about what is achievable, what you want to look into. And of course, you have all the commands from my channel to help you give advice on that. This will be the last session of November. So if you want to be one of the 2 winners of November as our our session receiver, just gifted 10 subs to the channel. I appreciate you very, very, very much. Thank you, thank you. Congrats on all of the people in the chat who received a free subscription by being here. Thank you. You're welcome, man. Thank you so much for the extra love from the session. I appreciate it. That's really nice to see always. Yeah, so if you want to be one of the 2 people who wins a free session like this, make sure you leave a comment saying that you would like to win. And you might be one of the 2 people that I select tomorrow. So you'll have to reply to this one quickly, okay? Maybe I'll wait like a day or 2, okay? Because maybe I'll do it at the end of tomorrow, okay? So you have like 24 hours to comment if you want to win, okay? Yeah, and I'll draw 2 winners. I'll contact you on YouTube, and then you can hit me up on Discord, and we will set up a date where you can have a session. Right now, I think there was a huge influx of sessions. I think I got about like, I want to say like 25 requests in about a month. So, you know, it was like very clustered together. It started to ease up a little bit, so there's a little bit more time in between. Well, not in between the sessions, but, you know, I'm not like booked up for multi weeks at this point. It's just like 1 full week, I think. So, like I thought, you know, it usually comes and goes. So we're good, but you're still going to get a lot of these sessions. So hopefully you enjoy this and enjoyed watching it. I'm sure you check out Twitch stream where I'm live every day. Or if you're just checking out the YouTube videos, I appreciate that as well. And I'll see you on the next video, I guess, right? Oh no, if you want one of these sessions, one of these paid sessions, you can also check the link in the description. Or if you have data for me for Reboot, send it to me. And if you want to join my guild, just hit me up in the chat or apply in the description as well. Okay? Yes. Cool. Amazing. And I'll see you in the next one. All right. Amazing. Best outro ever. All right. Bye. I am good at outros.